everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I'm showing you how to get this everyday smoky eye look for beginners. I have been obsessed lately with just kind of like an everyday, like dark, sultry makeup look, and this has been my go-to look for quite some time, like probably for the past 2 or 3 years. I've just gotten back into wearing it, so I'm going to go into a lot of detail for you. So if you are a beginner, I will show you how easy it is to get this look, to have everything look flawless and blended. It is a longer video, but keep in mind I am going into detail for beginners, because anyone can achieve this when I am not talking my head off. This takes me like maybe 5 to 7 minutes to do, so it's really simple and easy. Well, once you guys practice, you'll be able to get it down in no time. I am starting a new series on my channel for beginner makeup, so if you are a beginner at makeup and want to learn more and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and let me know in the comments below what beginner videos you would love to see from me. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so step 1 to your makeup is priming and setting your eyes. So as you guys can see, this is my eye primed and set, and this is my eye not primed or set for shadow. So you can see the difference. This just kind of is going to give you like a blank slate, like a blank canvas to put the shadows on. Setting with the powder is going to make it a lot easier for the shadows to blend. And then this eyelid, there's just a lot of discoloration, and you don't really want any of that peeking through your shadow. And just honestly, having a base down, like I said, it's like a blank canvas. It's just going to make your colors go on a lot easier and smoother. Just like if you were painting, sometimes you just do a coat of white on the canvas and set it before you start. Kind of a similar idea here. So I just take my concealer. If you have an eye primer or a face primer, you can use that as well. I just like using the concealer because it's just going to give me that skin toned color that I'm looking for. And I just carefully just blend that out with a sponge. You can use a brush. You can use your finger if you want. Then I just take some loose setting powder. This is a Maybelline Fit Me on a brush. And then I'm just going to pat this on top, specifically in the crease area, because, I mean, it's called a crease because that's where it creases. So we want to prevent that. I get all the way to the inner part of my socket and just pat my way outwards. To get rid of any powder, I just take a dual fiber brush and just lightly swipe it across my lid. And then the last thing I do is curl my lashes so you guys can see the difference between this eye and this eye. I like doing this before I put shadow on and then right before I'm ready to do mascara. Now we are all set and primed and ready for shadow. I am back. So before I do a super zoom so you guys can really see what you're doing, I am going to take a second to talk about this palette. This is the Lorac Matte Pro palette. This is like my secret weapon. It is like one of my most used palettes. I think I've had this for like 2 years now, but it's kind of like the perfect everyday wear eyeshadow, perfect for traveling. It has all the shades that you need, mostly browns. Like there's like, I mean, it's mostly warm tone, but some of them are like a little bit on the cooler side. You get a matte black, you get a burgundy shade, you also get like a dusty rose, pinky mauve shade, and then the rest are all neutral browns. And then of course a matte white shadow, which you guys can see I've been loving. So this little guy retails for $28, and I think that is well worth the price because, like I said, this can be your go-to everyday eyeshadow palette. It has basically everything you need to create multiple eye looks. So that is what I will be using, and let's zoom in and get started. Alright, so I like to work my way from the crease down to my lid. So I'm going to start off with a transition shade. Now, a transition shade is an eyeshadow color that's really close to your skin tone, and it's going to be like the lightest brown color that we're going to go ahead and use. So today for my transition shade, I am going to take the shade Latte. I could use Bare, but that might be a little bit too light for me. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go in with Latte today. So you guys can see how similar it is to my skin tone. It's like maybe a few shades darker than what I am. So I like taking a fluffy brush, not one that's super dense, because your transition shade is what we want to buff out the most and smoke out the most with our eyeshadow looks. So I am a huge fan of the Real Techniques 203 blending brush. This is an affordable brush. It's more of the expensive affordable brushes, I would say. But honestly, just the design of this and the weight of it makes it so easy to blend shadow out. So I highly recommend this. And I know it looks dirty, but it's like a clean dirty. Like the whatever color this is stained isn't gonna come off on my shadow because ain't nobody got time to clean their brushes every day. So I just like dabbed my brush into the shadow, picked it up, and I'm going to tap away some of the extra. And then I am just going to go ahead, and I have this at an upward angle, not a downward angle. I have it at an upward angle because we want to buff the shadow outward. So that is why you want to hold it at that angle. I am holding my brush about midway down the shaft of the brush, and I am going to be using light pressure and circular motions to just really buff that shadow. You can start off doing windshield wiper motions to place the shadow down, and then to really buff it out, doing the circular motions will help. And then I am bringing this all the way to my inner corner. So outer corner to inner corner, and I do a mix of windshield wiper and circular motions. And I'm just going to build this up a teensy bit more. If you have issues getting into the inner corner, my trick is to look the opposite direction, and it makes it really easy for the brush to just slide in there. This is personal preference right here. How far up and how far out you want to smoke your shadow is up to you. But as you can see, I have blended it pretty much up to here, so I'm leaving very little space on my brow bone. If you want more of more space on your brow bone, that is up to you. Although we are going for more of a rounded eye, I still kind of naturally keep like a cat eye shape. Like I just always stop my brush right here at this angle. And I do blend this out to where my lid ends. If you feel for whatever reason you still don't have a good blend and you have some harsh edges, my secret weapon and tip is to take a very large, kind of like densely packed fluffy brush. This guy, as you can see, has a lot of hairs to it, but it's not super floppy. It's going to blend without like over blending, if that makes sense. You definitely want to make sure you have a clean, fluffy brush on standby. This is a mystery brush. I got it in an Ipsy bag years ago, and it has like no markings on it, but it's one of my favorite brushes. So what you can do is kind of place this. So about 1/4 of the bristles is in uncharted territory, like where that brow bone space is. And you can just take windshield wiper motions with light pressure and go back and forth to help blend. And you can do that. I do this in between just about every step. Next, we want to start making our gradient. So I'm going to take a mixture of corduroy and chocolate. I'm probably going to pick up corduroy by itself first and then add chocolate on later. I'm now moving over to a Morphe M433 blending brush. These are really, truly great. They pick up product and they're really good at dispersing and blending out with the way that the brushes are. And everyone has mixed opinions about Morphe, but they are truly affordable if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a ton on brushes. So I did 2 dabs of corduroy and 1 dab of chocolate to start off. And then I'm starting in the outer corner. That is where I want to place most of the product because most smoky eyes, they're like the heaviest and smokiest on the outer corner and kind of gradient inward. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm just doing small circular motions. Again, I'm holding the brush kind of towards the end and I'm still applying a light pressure. Applying with a light pressure is key when you start working with darker colors because if you press hard and you blend hard, it's going to make it very harsh and difficult to blend. So just kind of the same technique as before, we're just not blending this out quite as high as the original transition color. So I'm not being super precise here because we are going to have a darker color on the lid, so it's okay to blend this onto your lid. that is what is great about this look, is that you can be kind of messy with it. I say this in all my tutorials, but the key to a nice blended eye is lots of blending. So I'm going back with the Real Techniques brush, and I'm just using circular and windshield wiper motions to blend that into the transition shade. And then if I feel like things look too muddy or they're not blending out how I want them, I can always go back in with this guy and give it a once over. And then if you ever feel like you laid down too much product, like this one, it was a little bit heavier of a hand and you can see how it's kind of patchy and streaky. I'm just like kind of going through and dispersing the product, and then I will work on blending it. So don't be afraid if you feel like you picked up too much. Just lay it down and then with light pressure, blend the edges. So to correct this, I went back with my Real Techniques brush and I'm doing large circular motions to blend the transition down to that brown color. And it basically just means I'm going to add a teensy bit more color to my left eye. So I'm just going to pat that on and then blend it out. Throughout this whole time, I'm still holding my brush at that upward angle. If I really wanted to keep a color concentrated to the crease and not blend it out, that is when you would use a downward angle for your brush. So I'm not super concerned if this is the perfect blend right now because we're about to add the darker color. So I'm going to take just chocolate on a flat shader brush. So I am using this So Susan. Never heard of this brand. This came in an Ipsy bag and it's not marked otherwise, but as you guys can see, it's more of a fluffier shader brush. So a shader brush is really going to help pack on powder to your lid area. And then specifically with this palette, it can get quite powdery, so you don't need a lot of product and you can just, again, tap away the extra. Tapping away extra product is a good way for you to build your color. So for this, because it is a darker color, I don't want to mess it around and risk like flicking pigment. So I am just pressing this close to my lash line as possible, all the way across my lid. Then I'm going to go back in with the Real Techniques brush and I'm going to start blending from my lid to my crease to mesh it all together, marry the colors together. Again, with a combination of the circular motions, I tend to do this in the outer corner, and then the inner corner I do windshield wiper motions. It's rather difficult with my eye shape to do the circular motions on the inner corner. Also, just going to do like circular back and forth motions on the lid so there's no patchiness. Now, of course, if you wanted this to be like a cat eye, you could have used Scotch tape to get a really crisp line. You can clean it up with concealer afterwards to get a crisp line, but I like more of like a rounded smoky eye, so that is what I'm going for today. So I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. I've been filming for about 15 minutes, so this is not something that is going to take a ton of time out of your day. If I'm not filming, going slow, and going into extreme detail, I can do this entire eye look in about 5 minutes. So if you are new at this, don't be discouraged. This is something that shouldn't take a ton of time out of your day. But if you are new, know that it will take you longer, but the more you practice, the faster and quicker you'll get through it and the faster you'll be out the door with your makeup. So far, we're looking pretty good. I zoomed you guys out a little bit so you can kind of see what we're working with both eyes. You guys can see that really nice gradient. So now is Mr. Fluffy Brush's time to shine. I just, again, circular back and forth motions, mostly into the crease, just to give everything a once over to make sure it is blended nicely. And if you ever make anything accidentally too dark, you just want to blend, 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 and it will lighten it up. You can also go back into your shadow palette and take a lighter color. For example, if I put too much chocolate and made it too dark, I can pick up Latte with a blending brush and put it on top to help lighten it up. And then just for good practice, once I think I'm done blending, I just go back and forth and count to 20. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I do it pretty quickly, and that is just like the last blend that I will do with the darker colors. It's something that will literally take you less than 10 seconds, and it's just, again, to keep yourself in check, make sure everything is nicely blended. So for the brow bone, I do want to keep this mostly matte, so I am going to take a Coastal Scents brush. Again, this doesn't have a number, it's super old. It is just an angled, fluffier brush, and I'm going to go ahead and go in with Linen, which is the matte white. I just, again, dab my brush in, tapping away the extra, and then I am just going to lightly pat this across my brow bone area. And this is something that can also help if you accidentally blend too high up or you want to tone things down a bit. This is like the perfect way to help you get there, kind of a little cheat so you don't feel like you have to start over, because that can be super frustrating. And then again with Mr. Big Fluffy, I am just going to give it a quick once over. And we are ready to move on to the lower lash line. One quick tip, if you really want to make the lid color pop and make it super dark and rich, a good thing that you can do is take a cream base and put that on before you apply the shadow. So the NYX Jumbo pencils are absolutely amazing for this. They blend out really easy. They're super creamy. I love using the white one on my lid if I'm using brighter colors or I really want something to pop. This is in the shade Milk. Their black one, which I believe is called Black Bean, is perfect for a dark, super sultry eye. You would just put that on your lid, blend it out, and then pack the shadow on top and blend just like we did, and it will just really intensify things. It's kind of a lot that we have going on top, so you definitely want to mirror it on the bottom. Do not be afraid of this step. Trust me, it took me a long time to really smoke out and blend out my shadow, but it really does help balance things. If you go heavy on top, you gotta go heavy on bottom. So I'm just using this small fluffy brush. This came with the Urban Decay Kristen Leanne collection. Just to give you a comparison, here is the Real Techniques brush versus this one. So it's a lot skinnier and smaller. It's also pretty flimsy, so it's gonna blend really well on the lower lash line. This is kind of like our new like transition blending brush. So I'm going to pick up with the Latte shade right here. I'm just gonna set this down as a base. It's similar steps to what we did on the upper lid. We're now transitioning that down below. So for me, because my skin, I'm getting older, it's getting a little bit more wrinkly, it really helps me to like pull my eye open to blend really well to the inner corners. These are areas where it's difficult for me to get shadow. And you can blend this out as much as you want. I do tend to be pretty generous with this lighter color. Another tip that I like to do is I like to connect the lower with the upper, so you can just lightly extend the shadow to where this ends, and it will again help make that round shape. So now I'm taking my Sonia Kashuk 202 brush. This is like a very small pencil brush, perfect for the lower lash line. I am taking Corduroy, which was the second to darkest color, and I am just going to line my lashes with this. Again, tapping away the extra because you don't want fallout on your face. And I'm just going to smudge this down. And I'm bringing it all the way in. Again, to blend, I'm going to go back with this brush and lightly blend it. I don't want to blend away all the definition, I just want the harsh line gone. To really define the lash line, instead of using black, I'm going to take chocolate, which is the darkest brown in this palette. And don't mind my nails, by the way. I used purple shampoo in my hair last night and it stained like the skin under my nails. I swear they're not dirty. But anyways, taking a really flat liner brush like this is the Morphe M432. I love this for my lower lash line because I can really wiggle it right under my liner or my lashes. You don't need like 10 million brushes. You can again use something like this, or you could have used this brush for the last step. I just happen to have a lot of brushes, so I use them. So for this, I'm literally going to go under my lashes right on that lash line, and I'm going to stamp and wiggle this color. And I'm going to stop the color right about there, so right before the inner corner. Personal preference, you can pack on as much or as little of this as you want. And then to blend this out, because I don't want to buffer it out a ton, which is what this was great for, I want to slightly blend, so I'm going to go back in with the pencil brush and just slightly wipe away at the edge of where that line was to diffuse it. A fluffier pencil brush that would be great for this is the Morphe E36. I love this. It's again great for getting under your lashes. All right, so no tea, no shade. I have like the teensiest amount of fallout right over here, but it's not really anything that you can notice unless if you're like an inch away from my face. So other than that, so following the steps that I use and just tapping away the excess, patting things on, I'm not doing anything super harshly or really flicking your brush. You're not going to have a mess on your face to clean up after this. The biggest tip that I have, because I'm so close to my face, I like to step back from a distance to make sure things look balanced and even. So I always go into my bathroom mirror before I apply mascara to make sure everything looks even and one eye isn't like this and the other eye is like that. So I will be right back. And if you wanted to give an inner corner highlight, you can use like a glittery, reflective, shimmery highlight if you want, but I want this to be matte. So I'm just taking a bit of white. You honestly, like I never really do this, but I guess I'm just doing it for the sake of the tutorial. I'm taking that Morphe E36. This is also great for inner corner highlighting. And I'm just gonna take that matte white and just put it right in the inner corners. It makes like really no difference, but all right, for lashes, a key step is curling. I curled before, as you guys saw at the beginning of this tutorial, and I am just going to give it a quick stamp again to make sure that the shape is there, like a fresh curl before I apply my mascara. And I'm just gonna go ahead and go over my mascara application with you. I'm not a huge fan of falsies, so I will not be applying them today, but if you want to add it, it will definitely add a lot more drama to your eye look. The first mascara that I go in with is the Maybelline Falsies Push-Up Angel Mascara. I love this wand and I love applying it first because of the wand. It's kind of like a curved comb, so it's like perfect for combing through your lashes. So I just open my eye really wide. I kind of hold the mascara wand at an angle like inward towards my eye. And I just kind of mostly dab the product at the base of the lashes. Because we're not wearing liner or wearing falsies, I still want to have a really defined black line of where my lashes start. So I pack this mascara on there, and then I just kind of like comb through whatever's left through the rest of the lashes and wiggle my way up. Again, I just really use this to build up the base of my lashes and kind of position my lashes where I want them to sit. My lashes tend to work best with a more wet formula. I can't let mascara sit and dry because then it will just be clump city for me. So while my lashes are still wet, I'm going to go ahead and add the second layer, and you can see the difference with what that first mascara did. The second one I go in with is another Maybelline mascara. This is the Colosso Big Shot Mascara with Shayla. This is what's going to add volume and thickness to my lashes with that wand. So you can see it's definitely a thicker, more like, not hairy-like, but more feathery looking wand, I guess. I don't focus this at the base of my lashes. This is mostly for like the ends. So I go from like the middle of my lash and just build up the ends. This is kind of how I get more volume in my lashes without like needing mascara. or without needing falsies. And I am getting a little bit messy on my lid. I'll show you guys how to clean that up. And I'm really holding my mirror like almost like at a 90-degree angle here. And this is really gonna help prevent getting those smudges all over your lid. Typically, my right lashes behave and perform a lot better than my left lashes, but you can see the difference between the first coat of mascara and then the second coat with this one on it. So for lower lashes, I really love the MAC Extend and Play Giga Black Mascara. This is, I think, $18, but I really do enjoy it for my bottom lashes. As you guys can see, the brush is like small enough to get wiggle room in there, and that's exactly what I do. I wiggle the brush through my lashes on the bottom. So to get rid of any sort of smudgies, you just want to wait for the mascara to dry and go through with a spoolie and just kind of spoolie it away. So I have quite a few smudgies under my eye. You can also go through with a brush and just kind of like swipe and blend it away too. As you guys could see, I kind of got a lot of smudgies over there. A Q-tip would work well for this too, but the spoolie just kind of flaked that right away and flicked it onto my face. So just swipe that away, and then just to make sure a ton of shadow didn't get disturbed, I'm just going back over with the brush really fast, and that is it for the eyes. Now for lips, you can wear like any kind of lip color that you feel comfortable and confident wearing. For me, I'm a fan of pinky nude, so that is what I'm going to be doing. Alright, so for lips, I just applied this nude stick lip and cheek pencil. This is in the shade Whisper. I highly recommend it if you have a pale skin tone and you're looking for more of a mauvey pinky nude. And then because I want to add, I don't want it to be like completely matte because we do have our highlight on, I am going to add some gloss on top. So this is the Dose of Colors Over the Top lip gloss. It is absolutely gorgeous, my favorite. Let's add some gold shimmer. Oh, I love it. I'm obsessed. This is like honestly amazing. So that is going to conclude our easy everyday smoky eye. So I really hope you guys found this helpful. Again, I will be doing more beginner videos where I go into a lot of detail to help you guys out so you can become makeup experts yourself, or at least, you know, feel like you know what you're doing when you're heading out. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this, subscribe, leave me a comment down below with what beginner videos you would like to see from me next. Luna says goodbye, and so do I. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.